Jordan has a rich and ancient history. It offers scenery unmatched anywhere else in the world. From the desert of Wadi Rum to the Dead Sea, from ancient ruins to urban Amman, Jordan is a diverse and scenic country. Jordanian culture is rooted deeply in the traditional Bedouin values of courage, honor, and hospitality. The Royal Jordanian Air Force also displays these values, and every year visitors get to experience them firsthand during the Falcon Air Meet. As a vision of His Royal Highness Lieutenant General Faisal bin Al Hussein, the Falcon Air Meet brings others together in Jordan. Those flying F-16 Fighting Falcons work and train alongside each other to learn from one another and to prepare for the strategic readiness of a coalition force. By competing against each other, participants in the Falcon Air Meet can demonstrate and compare their tactical skills in airborne, ground, and maintenance events by means of a real-world operational scenario revolving around international political objectives. This year's scenario begins with the arrival of friendly forces to form a coalition. Of course, they arrive with appropriate fanfare stating that they're here. The coalition forces arrive for a decisive air campaign to support a hostage rescue operation, attack the enemy's terrorist training activities, and destroy their ability to produce weapons of mass destruction.
As we know, the scenario was built according that we have a foreigner country or the Red Forces country which is starting to doing hostile acts among us, and now we are in the phase of preparing and receiving the friendship or coalition forces to have them in our base to start our counteract. The countries where we are having now are the Royal Jordanian Air Force, the US Air Force, and the Belgium Air Force. And we will start from now on doing our planning, and we'll start our action among that bad guys.
Shortly after arriving, the base is attacked, which requires air crews to scramble for a large force employment. This is done to get jets off of the ground with only a moment's notice.
The scramble is a response to an enemy attack. So it's important we have the pilots as quick as possible in the air to defend the home base.
All right, first off, it starts obviously on the ground here with 2 crew chiefs and 1 pilot, and there's 2 teams of that composition. So we're going to launch 2 jets. We're going to start out 10 meters away from the aircraft, and when the guy gives the signal, we're going to run to the jet, climb in, strap in, get the jet, get the motor started, and the crew chiefs on the ground are going to do a couple of checks. They're got to do the EPU check and a few other arm the weapons that are on the aircraft, do their other checks, and get us out of the chocks while the pilot continues to finish doing his system checks.
Once airborne, Coalition F-16s perform a defensive counter-air mission to protect the base by intercepting enemy aircraft before they can attack again.
There's some parameters we have to fulfill, like staying below 12,000 feet, subsonic. We have to ID this slow-moving aircraft visually within 6,000 feet, and then we have to shoot them with an AIM-9 heat-seeking missile air from a min-range of 1,500 feet out to 9,000 feet. So there'll be the two ship, we'll run in there. I'll be the leader, primarily I'll be the guy that's trying to shoot, but I've got my wingman back there who'll back me up in case my missile doesn't track or I miss the shot.
Eventually, the F-16s need to land and reload. Weapons need to be loaded as quickly as possible in order to return to the fight with an offensive counter-air attack.
Our goal here, as when we have attack to this base or to this area, we need to get our aircrafts ready for a mission, to load it when this aircraft come back from a mission. So we need to load it again by air-to-air missiles and air-to-ground weapons, When they come back from mission, that we need to load our airplanes as soon as we can and to load with them with air-to-air missiles, as you see here, the AMRAAM missiles and AIM-9 missiles.
During loading, we have to slide the missile M120 on the aircraft. It's the hard point right there. And we are loading M9 with our hands to load it, to be fast, more, to be sure that everything is okay. And check everything is running okay to be sure that the aircraft and the missiles launch during attack, to be sure that it's okay. Yeah.
So during the offensive counter-air operations, we will put a complete package of friendly forces, and we will try to drive them into enemy territory to obtain air superiority for a certain amount of time to engage tactical targets of the enemy. That way we can improve the capabilities of the friendly forces which can be on the ground to improve their movement or their freedom of attack.
Dealing with the multinational air forces, we get a lot of useful things. We have to deal with a large number of aircraft, which is a good experience for our air traffic controllers.
The F-16s practice air refueling with a KC-135. Refueling is important for two reasons. It acts as a force multiplier, allowing planes to carry more ordnance instead of external fuel tanks. It also extends the fighter's range, or lets them stay in the fight longer. Hostages have been taken and are being held in a remote location. Special forces have been ordered to rescue them and then destroy the outpost. They work with the Air Force to ensure mission success.
This is a hostage rescue operation, and we conduct our operation by moving with the C-130, having 2 Humvees with it, and we know that we have to do it as fast as we can, and of course we have to do it accurate. So our Humvee is moving from the C-130 to the target, and we have the time and the enemy to consideration. We have to put it in our mind. So after they take the hostages from the house, they go back to the C-130, and we are moving undercover with the F-16.
For surgical strikes, pilots work closely with JTACs, Joint Terminal Attack Controllers, or Forward Air Controllers. The pilots are guided to targets by troops with a close-air view. They also provide close air support for ground troops.
We search for targets, and then in close coordination with the ground commander, we give those targets towards the air forces, and then we can strike them.
Once the hostages are rescued, the F-16s perform surgical airstrikes, with the JTACs call for a final sweep of the area.
The challenging side of our scenario today, that we have to deliver our bombs on target, on time, and as accurate on parameters as possible. So we are trying to fly precise timing, precise parameters, and precise bomb impact over time.
This scenario has provided a framework for Falcon Air Meet 2009. Someday, these airmen may be allies in a real-world conflict. But for now, the friendly competition gives airmen the time to get to know one another, play a friendly game or two, and experience each other's culture.
Being here is not to compete and win trophies. The idea here is to compete in a friendly way where we can enhance our relationship in a professional and in a personal level. And that's, I believe, what we achieved during Falcon Air Meet 09. شكرا للجميع لحضوركم للمملكة الأردنية الهاشمية، بلد المحبة والسلام والمحبة، والسلام عليكم.